Hero Dark Prince in a nutshell. Dark Prince will be the next hero coming to Clash Royale. You can find him in the Diamond Pass, which if you will be buying, his ability costs 3 elixir and is a one-time use ability. When you click it, the Dark Prince will dismount his Rhino and split into 2 units. The dismounting causes damage to everything around the Dark Prince, and the damage is high enough to kill archers, bombers, and firecrackers, but it's slower than arrows, so it can't kill zappies when paired with Zap. It's also worth mentioning that air troops are immune from the spawn damage, so don't count on it. Now, if the troop survives it, there is knockback, so it's not that much of a waste on bigger targets. Especially if they are a charging win condition, it's mostly worth going for in this case. The knockback, however, isn't universal, so big stuff are immune from it. When splitting, there is no immunity frames, so both can get blasted in the face at once. Since we have 2 different troops, now let's look at them individually. I'm just gonna start with the guy. Taking all things into account, the guy is just Dark Prince but without his pony. I'm talking the same HP, same damage, same hit speed. Although since his trusty little animal is gone, he loses his charge completely. His walking speed is 1-to-1 the same as Knight, and that's because Dark Prince himself has that movement speed if you take the charging off the table. The guy also keeps the immunity from pushback, which is interesting cause you would think his physical strength comes from the pony. If they damaged your Dark Prince before the split, then once you press the ability, the guy would keep the lower HP bar while the Rhino would be at full HP. If there was a Rune Giant buff on him before the split, it will also stay on the guy. Technically speaking, even if you log them before the ability and click it in time, the log will only hit the Rhino because it can't hit the same target twice. Now for the Rhino, it is considered to be an entirely new card, so treat it like you treat Cursed Hogs from the Mother Witch. The charge damage on it is a little bit higher than Hog, so you don't really want to be taking that. The HP is slightly lower than Hog Rider, but not by much, I'll tell you that. And the hit speed is exactly the same. Dude, this is just a slightly nerfed Hog Rider for 3 elixir. The Rhino keeps its jump from the original card, so even when split, it can leap over the river. But what it doesn't keep is its immunity from knockback, so Snowball can't stop its charge. When a ranged card is targeting the Dark Prince, it won't retarget onto the Rhino because it's treated as a spawned unit. And just like other spawned units, it gets the pancake buff if the Dark Prince took it right before splitting, so that gives you 2 level 12 cards. Countering it is kinda similar to Ram Rider and Battle Ram, as in any knockback unit is perfect for the job. Electro Dragon and Electro Wizard are also amazing because they can stun multiple targets, so they will almost always shut down the Rhino. Zappies being a single target makes them ineffective if the opponent pops their ability late, as they would be stuck on the guy instead. If they activated the ability early, he would jump out of range and they would stun the Rhino instead, and then properly deal with the Dark Prince himself afterwards. Using this knowledge, you can try to catch the Dark Prince as soon as he crosses the bridge, so that your tower targets the Rhino and helps with it. And this is something you already want to do against Dark Prince because it's better than letting him start charging. Majority of the troops that already work well against Dark Prince can do well against the hero if you use a small spell. Without any small spell, it can get overwhelming, and honestly, they invested 6 elixir, so it's very fair that you have to spend more. An important note is that kiting him towards the middle of the arena is a bad idea because the Rhino would be harder to catch up with. So you kinda wanna treat the Dark Prince as a win condition, just like how you treat Hog Riders and Ram Riders. Buildings can do a decent job too, but they also need the support of a spirit or a small spell, which is fair. The one thing that can fully deal with him is the Goblin Cage if you place it high enough to where the Dark Prince gets pushed out of the tower range after he pops the ability. In terms of usage, it's actually super versatile. For example, it's really great on defense. Imagine this, they go Royal Hogs and you go Dark Prince. A regular Dark Prince won't deal with them super well because he lacks DPS. Usually, you pair it with Rage or Log, but now he has a built-in ability that can damage them and knock them back, making it a near perfect defense. And not only that, but the Rhino you get will force out more elixir from them, in which the Dark Prince will clean up since he is much slower. It's honestly great on defense. Another decent defensive example is against Mortar, as the Rhino will take out the building while the Slow Prince will distract it from the tower. Offensively, I don't really see it as a solo win condition because 7 elixir for 3/4 of a Hog Rider is a big investment. But it can complement your win condition by baiting out buildings and forcing out awkward responses. One thing to note is that I would only drop him after the charge connects, that way you gain more value out of it. Dropping him before the charge connect doesn't really benefit you much because he will stop and lose it anyway. The drop damage can be a great way to clear out shields or help dish out damage for your other attacking troops. One very cool tech you can do with him is that if the opponent distracted him with a knight or something, dismounting him pushes him back and makes him lock on the other troops. Now this card is definitely gonna be a great bridge spam card to pair with Ram Rider, not on the same push, but certainly in the same deck. I could see some Hog decks or Royal Hog decks start using him, but it's gonna be a bit awkward because he doesn't fill the roles of super high HP or super high damage they need in a tank. Regarding giant decks and other beatdown stuff, I don't think he fits that well there. Sure, he's gonna be usable, but probably until we get better options. E-giant decks though, maybe cause they play into splash cards a lot and rely on chip damage instead of building an overwhelming push, and the Rhino can fill that role. For king activations, the Rhino can activate if you are using Fisherman along with Princess or Chef Tower. Just use the standard Hog placement. If you are using Cannoneer or Duchess, it won't work because the HP is relatively low that it would die before it gets the first hit. With Nado, it's only possible if it was played behind the King Tower or towards the middle. However, if it was played in the corner near the outer side of the arena, it's just too far for the Nado to get it on the King Tower. Regarding the guy, you can't activate with him using Fisherman because his splash isn't big enough like the Valkyrie, so he won't hit the King Tower. With Nado, it's the same story as the Rhino, it's only possible if he was played behind the King or towards the inner side of the arena. Here is the new arena. It seems like it's fully designed after Hero Dark Prince, though I don't know what the lanterns are there for. What I do know for sure is that it's a missed opportunity at making a basketball court as an arena. I will never forgive you, Supercell. It should have been so cool, man. Here are the sound effects.